We're back. Hello, everyone. How are you? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are. We are live, and we are part of the SHIB Inu setup to help every single person on the planet to become extremely wealthy by educating you, by enlightening you, and to give you precedence. Uh, let's do a poll here. Um, let's ask the community. There you go. Big, massive shout out to every single person on the planet. Hallelujah. We want to make sure we say hello to. We'll do the continents because they're the easiest, right? We'll say happy birthday to North America. No, big shout out to North America. Big shout out to South America. Big shout out to Asia. Big shout out to Europe. Big shout out to Africa. Don't want to forget our African brothers and sisters over there. Don't want to forget anyone in Australia and New Zealand. We don't want to forget anyone there. And we don't want to forget anyone in Antarctica, right? So there's our seven. Massive love shout out to Russia. Massive love shout out to everyone in Europe, Scotland, Ireland, UK, Germany, Spain, France, Austria. Make sure you say hello to Austria. Massive love shout out to Lithuania. Massive love shout out to Norway, Finland, and Sweden. Poland, massive love shout out to you, of course. Massive love shout out to everyone in Africa, the Congo, massive love shout out to you. South Africa, massive love shout out to you. Nigeria, massive love shout out to you. Every single person on the planet. We want to thank you for coming and taking part into our sponsored event, which is everything that we do on this channel. 80% of what we do here is reduced SHIB circulating supply. So everything that we take in from the channel goes right back to you, the holders of SHIB. Everything that we do on the raffle, half of it goes towards the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. The other half goes towards our winner or winners. We do have a maximum that we pay per winner, but there is no maximum that we burn. Okay, there is a maximum. Of course, you can't burn any more than what you get, which is half the supply, basically. So right now, as it stands, we would have 12 billion tickets available. So 6 billion of those tickets would be up for grabs. That would go to the reduction wallet. The other 6 billion tickets, 2,800. Can you imagine 2,800 winners? That's insane, right? And then we would have no supply left. Like everything would be in limbo for as long as they took to actually get their money and start cashing it out. Otherwise, she would be either taking off or sinking because there's literally no supply. Like literally, there'd be zero supply. There would only be approximately 294 trillion, and then if we sold the max again, we would only have 3 trillion available for the burn, and 3 trillion. So we would have 1,400 winners from 2,800 winners. We have 1,400 winners, and again, we'd have no supply left, and it would be up to the mercy of the people selling it to try and put it back in the market. Again, we would only have 1.5 trillion SHIB left tickets, so like 75 trillion left in circulating supply. We have to wait another 9 days before they release those numbers, or 7 days, depending on who you're with. But You got to this is where it gets a little tricky because the exchanges are holding on to a massive amount of SHIB. So they have no problem reducing your supply. None at all. Because you're driving up the price of SHIB. So they're the ones that benefit the most. And with the volume increasing, they make the most money. So as the volume increases, the faster SHIB gets up there to $1. The quicker it gets to $1, the better it is for them because they make even more money. Because right now with SHIB trading so low, they don't capitalize on it as much as they would if it was in the cents and the dollars. Then they capitalize on it more. And because SHIB is constantly adding value to every single time we reduce the circling supply, we would have this massive influx of new holders jumping in. And you would have the old holders holding on to it because they're like, well, if it's going to go up, why would I sell it? So you have that point of it too, right? Because it's reducing. And is the raffle better? It's faster. That's all it is. It's faster. It's inevitable what's going to happen with SHIB. It's just inevitable. Every single organization on the planet wants to make money. And they can make money with something that's reducing its circling supply. It's just they haven't caught on to it. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about that before. With the raffle, it speeds things up drastically so you can understand the correlation. Once you get the correlation going, then you understand, wait a second, this is a no-brainer. Exactly. It's a no-brainer. And the reason why they haven't figured it out is beyond me. But they should have figured this out a long time ago, back when Vladimir Peter burned the first burn. Now, we have been burning. It's just not regularly. It's not consistent. Okay? And it's not high. So everybody says, oh, we're burning it, but it doesn't mean anything. We have burned over 749 billion. We've only had 2 runs in that period of time. 2 runs. One of them was 56 billion. There's 749 billion missing from supply. Yet everybody misses that whole spectrum. Like it took 3 years to burn that much. But they don't realize 749 billion. You have any idea how much money that is? Have any idea? That's in millions. Millions of dollars gone. Millions. But people are just on the fence. They don't listen. They don't pay attention. They just don't like. That's what I'm saying to you. SHIB shouldn't be where it's at, but it's being forced there by people telling you it's time to get out. When they're supposed to be, it's time to get in. But people don't understand that concept. They don't get it, and I don't know when they will. When they will understand that. And that's the whole beauty of a currency that's constantly giving you back your money. When you think about it, it's giving you money to stay in it, to live for a longer day, because your money now is making you money. But if you're not looking at it that way, you're going to get out of it. You're going to say, oh, no, I want to get out. I don't want to stay in this. This is just wrong. Well, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make any sense if you're selling something of value for less value. It's got more value because it's reduced its circulating supply from yesterday, the day before, and you're going to sell it for less money. Does that make sense to anybody? Does it make sense to anybody? And how come it's not being talked about? That's the whole point of it. Now, you can talk about the RSI. You can talk about the Bollinger Bands. You can talk about the charts all you want. But the truth of the matter is, you're talking about a currency that's constantly reducing its circulating supply, thus adding value. Massive love shout out to Babe's channel. Woo! Massive love shout out to Jason Cox. Massive love shout out to Prince Williams. Massive love shout out to Ethan M. Jason M. Massive love shout out to Aiden. Massive love shout out to my Filipino family. Everybody. Alex, Helen, Anai, Veneer, massive love shout out to you, massive love shout out to May Colis, massive love shout out to not massive love shout out to every single person in the Philippines. As I was there, and it was a very relaxing time. It was hot majority of the time, but it was still nice to get out and be among the palm trees. There's so many palm trees. There's an unbelievable characteristic about the Philippines. And the beach. You can't beat the water, right? The humidity. You just can't beat it anywhere. it's just awesome. It's just fantastic for every single person to take advantage of the whole situation as it comes in and goes out. And we want to make sure that we get that message loud and clear. Wena, massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to Prince Williams, my co-star, my co-host. He's my trustee. So with every raffle, you have to have a minimum of 2 people. And they can't be, usually they can't be related. So you can't have your wife as a trustee, obviously. You can't have your cousins, nephews, brothers, sisters as your trustee, because it just doesn't look right. It's not in peril, right? Massive love shout out to Rowena. Mega love shout out to you. Yes, mega love shout out to you too. Massive love shout out to Babe's channel. Thank you so much. Everybody's welcome to come in and have a great time here, because we are all about what? Helping you become extremely wealthy. We are the only value-added raffle in the entire world. We're giving the money back to you in the form of SHIB. We're actually giving everything we have to you, right? Make sure you fill out the poll. Make sure if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so at your own peril, because everybody needs to come in and say hi. Where are you from? Yeah, let's go, SHIB family. Absolutely. Absolutely. We need to support everybody in SHIB, right? Sportsman. For a sub? Do you want a substitution? Massive love shout out to Sportsman. Here, hold on a second. We'll get you. Where are you here? There we get you a standard monitor. There you go. So you can share your links. Everybody can share their links. So every night we come on and we host the SHIB 50/50 raffle, because we're supposed to do a live event. Yeah, thank you. No problem. No problem at all. Make sure you fill out there if you want to see SHIB hit 30888888. And how can we get there? How can we get that? How can we achieve that? Well, SHIB should be there pretty close to that. Between $400 billion market cap to a $600 billion market cap. And that would put it in that range, roughly around 305 to 307. Right? And it should fluctuate between there. Right now, because we're so low, manipulation is key, is paramount. And that's why we're sitting at this level, is because we're absolutely getting crushed by manipulation. Now, talked about this before on X. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but what's happening is we're about to see a massive explosion in SHIB. Now, no one knows when that is, and I can't say for sure it's going to happen, but it is going to happen. We're going to have a bidding war between the exchanges. Now, that's not going to be between investors. That's strictly dominance, trying to steal all the SHIB away from everybody. Literally try and steal that SHIB away from everybody. And the worst ones, of course, are the big banks. BlackRock's already got their foot in there. Those are like 120 trillion SHIB. Now, granted, that's between all the people that are also invested in SHIB. And if you go to Etherscan, I have put it on my website. It's SHIB5050raffle.com. We are making a new website. It's not ready yet because I'm trying to get everything suited up for it and having a little bit of difficulty with the autoresponder. But we're working on it. We're working on it. We want it really simple. So when you go on there, you're just going to click on the QR code, copy the QR code, bump, 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 and then you get your auto response and you get your tickets sent to you right away. Just like that. Now, I was thinking about doing confirmations on the tickets, but if you don't get your tickets, you're going to be sending me an email within 10 minutes, right? So why would I do a confirmation to see if you got your tickets or not, right? You should have your tickets. It'll come up on my website that you, not my website, my email that you got your tickets. So I'll have confirmation that way that you got your crypto tickets in SHIB. Remember, we deal with SHIB and SHIB only. So if you want to swap your Ethereum with SHIB, you can't. Okay, and there's a reason for that. It's just like fiat currency. If you take your fiat currency, if I accept fiat currency, I now got to go to each country that you're submitting your ticket findings to ask for permission, and they're going to deny it blatant outright because that money is supposed to go in their currency. That's why it's set up in their currency in the first place. So the mandate is to keep their currency in their country. Whereas SHIB is not considered a legal tender anywhere in the world, and it has no governance. I don't have to ask anybody except for the holders. Hey, everybody that's in SHIB, SHIB, Shiba Inu token, can I have your permission to host a SHIB 50-50 raffle? And that would be the response, but how many people are actually paying attention? A handful of people, 12, 14, 16, 100 people, 200 people, when SHIB's got 1.5 million wallet holders. See the relevance in there? It just doesn't make sense. Everybody wants to make money, period, right? So why wouldn't you want to host a raffle that's going to reduce the circulating supply and increase more demand? If anything, I should be getting a lot of publishing from the exchanges because they're the ones who make all the money. Every time you buy something on their exchange, they make money on it. There's a fee with that. Every time you sell it, so the same transaction for a buyer and seller, they make money on both of them, even though it's only one sale or one buy-in. You understand that? Yeah. So that's how that works. So the more the volume, the greater money they make. Vladimir Buterin, who even burned 400 trillion, didn't even catch on to it. Hey, Shane, massive love shout out. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Yeah, fiat. So you can't send fiat currency to me. I can't accept it. I'm sorry. I'm just going to send it back. And there's fees associated with it. So you lose even more money. It's just not feasible. So just to let you know, we can't accept anything other than SHIB, SHIB, in the marketplace. Hey, Shane, you from Quebec or you're from France? Sportsman, got to do a big shout out to Sportsman. Where are you from? What country? They don't have to give specifics, right? Just your country, maybe your state or region, province. And if you have a link, you can post your link, Shane. Hold on, we'll get you as a standard moderator. There you go. You're added as a standard moderator, so you're blue, so you can post your links on. What we're offering everybody is a chance to become extremely wealthy by little things, little communicational things, to help you understand what that means. So how do we make you extremely wealthy? Buy some SHIB. How much do we recommend anyone buying? A lottery ticket's worth. If you buy a lottery ticket a month, you buy SHIB a month. Treat it the same way. Don't go all in because we don't know when it's going to explode. We know it's going to explode. We just don't know when. Yeah, so if you want to know the ticket value in Canadian dollars, okay, so we deal with reference to pounds, but we don't talk about, we always ask about the SHIB. So right now, each ticket's 46,000 SHIB. Now that seems like a lot, but SHIB is 4 zeros. So it's 4 zeros, I think it's 1670 or 1640 Canadian and approximately $14. $14. 4 zeros, 1.0000001465. So basically, for $15 buys you 1 million SHIB. Amazing, right? 1 million SHIB. And then for 20 tickets, it's 920,000 SHIB for 20 tickets. right? It's less than $15. Treat it like a lottery ticket, guys. That's all we say. Treat it like a lottery ticket. Don't go all in. We don't know when it's going to explode. We know it's going to explode. We just don't know when. And when you start to see the exchanges start to pile in, they're looking for dominance. They're looking to extend their dominance in the marketplaces. And that's going to have drastic implications to everything, because it's going to increase the volume, and it's going to increase the price. And none of the other people will be taking part in it, but it will be because of the amount that they're going to be buying. They're going to try and gain dominance, because you can imagine how much money was made when Vlad Buterin was doing it. Not Vlad Buterin, but Ethereum. Okay, they made $40 billion in transactions in less than 3.5 months. Can you imagine making $40 billion in less than 3.5 months? And what did they do with that dominance that they had over SHIB? They didn't reduce one single SHIB. Not one. They learned that they reduced 410 trillion SHIB, and it boosted them up from millions to billions. They made billions off of it because of the transactions. And because they started to get congested, they had to increase the amount that they were offering. So now it's costing you $25 to do transactions, and then it was costing you $50 to do a transaction. Then it was costing you $125. Then $260 per transaction. So who was making the money? Ethereum was making the money. But what did they do with that? They didn't learn a thing from it. Do you think how many of them are going to make the same mistake? Well, it happened again with Shibarium. Shibarium burned 56 billion SHIB. Did they burn any more SHIB after that? Not a one. Not a one. So what did they learn? Nothing. They had the eggs. The golden eggs were being distributed to them. They did nothing to keep it going. Now we have burned 749 billion SHIB, and we still haven't seen a rise in value because of it. That's what we're saying. Like, you got to be kidding me. You burn 56 billion and you see a 7x, but we burn 700 billion, 749 billion, and we don't see anything. So either people are not paying attention or they just don't care. So which one is it? Is it you don't care that we reduce that much SHIB, or you're just not paying attention? You're just ignorant because someone else tells you, hey, listen, oh, they burn, but it's not enough to make a difference. 700, you burn 56 billion and it moves 7x, and you burn 700 billion and it doesn't move. Either yeah, exactly. You're not paying attention, right? People are just not focused on what's going on. Because every time you reduce it, you're adding value. And why would you want to sell something that's constantly adding value? Like you're literally just shooting yourselves in the foot, because you're letting the exchanges dictate to you, and you're letting the people who don't want you in there, they want you in their coin. They want you in something else, because nothing in this world gives you back value like SHIB does. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Not a thing. And you don't think that that's going to catch on? People aren't going to be smart enough to catch on to what's going on. That's what they're betting on. That's what they're betting on with every single person that's in SHIB. They're hoping that, hey, there's 1.5 million wallet holders that I can get my hands on, or 10 million wallet holders I can get my hands on, or 20 million wallet holders I can get my hands on. And because they're off of Ethereum, there's no way of tracking them. So all the ones on Coinbase, all the ones on Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, CoinDesk, all the ones on CoinGecko, all the ones on HTX, everyone that's in Gate.io, everyone that's in Crypto.com, everyone that's in Binance, all of those holders on their exchanges, we have no idea how many of them are in SHIB. Now, we do know that they're holding 57% of the total supply in the top 40 wallet holders. That's massive, because top 40 wallet holders, whoever they are, control the outcome of SHIB. And that's without any, that's manipulation, right? Top 40 wallet holders having that much dominance in SHIB, but the whole point is how many of them are holding their own personal amount of SHIB. That's the one trick pony. So Binance has 950, I believe, 950 trillion, roughly around there. Anthony, massive love show to Mark. Hi, y'all. Hi, Anthony. Massive love show to you, my brother. Anthony, you're in the States. Am I not correct? Or are you in Europe? Can't remember if he's in UK or not. Can't remember if Mark's in UK. Sportsman. Shane, did you go away, my brother? Bonjour. Howdy, Shane. Sean. How is everybody? Massive love show to everybody. Make sure you fill out the poll, right? We'll see what the poll says. How many people voted? 97%, but it's kind of only 3 votes. Everybody wants SHIB to take off. SHIB should already be there right now, guys. Should be there already. But manipulation says it all, right? Boom, baby. Yeah, so what are Ontario, Mark? I won't forget that again. Yeah, you're really close to us. We're in Calgary. Yay, brothers! Right, we're close. We're really close. Canadian brothers. Excellent. Then he'll come back and say, no, Ontario. Where is it? South Dakota. I'll be like, what? No. South Dakota. We don't get into politics here. We talk strictly about SHIB. We talk strictly about cryptocurrency. No, we talk strictly about SHIB. We don't talk about any other currency. Yeah, we do if you ask, right? If you ask for a currency, we'll look into it. But our direction is strictly on SHIB. And the reason why we bring up the 50-50 raffle all the time isn't because we want you to buy tickets in it. We want you to understand something in it. The reason why there's only a limited tickets is because there's a limited supply. And it's not limited, guys. And it's not unlimited. It's really reducing the circulating supply constantly. So how would that benefit every single organization in the world? Think about it. If you want to make money and you don't want to do anything, all you got to do is fill out tax forms, reduce SHIB circulating supply, get money back for reducing it, then charge the people that come onto your exchange or your profile or restaurant or business or any organization, start reducing the circulating supply of SHIB with every single transaction. When you do that, what happens? The value of SHIB goes through the roof. Now the value has not reflected in the price, but that doesn't matter. It's what people see it as. That's the whole trick. That's the whole trick of it. So the whole idea is to help you understand that reducing the supply increases the value of SHIB. Not necessarily, well, it hasn't, it has not reflected in the price, and it should. It just hasn't yet for some reason. And I blame it on the exchanges, but the exchanges can't hide forever because even they want to make money. So that's where we're going to get in a bidding war. And then the cryptocurrencies themselves that want to solidify themselves will need to buy SHIB. And they're going to want to do what too? Reduce the circulating supply of it. Now, they don't need to reduce their supply. They just got to reduce SHIB supply. Do you get that? Do you understand that? Everybody understand why they would do that? Why they wouldn't reduce their own supply to make them money or make them look better? They don't need to. Because what's going to happen is we made this much money last quarter. You see how it works? When we reduce the circulating supply of SHIB, we're increasing our own value. Therefore, every quarter we're making more and more money. And then they show that to their investors, saying, listen, we've made this much excess amount of money last quarter. And that's because they reduced SHIB circulating supply, increasing the value. The price should follow. People don't understand that concept. They think opposite. But when you have a coin that's worth, you have a 25 cent, it says 25 cents on there. But that 25-cent coin is very rare, but you don't know that unless you do what? Research it. Well, you research it, you find out that it's worth $250,000. But the guy that sold it to you gave it to you for 25 cents. He didn't know. You going to tell him, listen, we'll split it, okay? If you're a nice guy, you're going to split it, or you're going to give him some money back. Or you're not going to say anything at all to avoid what? Confrontation. Exactly. Because he'll be like, well, if I would have known that, well, you didn't do any research on it, you're kind of at a loss. Right? And then he feels bad that he sold you something of value for this face value of it. That's what you're doing with SHIB right now. Every single person that's selling SHIB right now, that's exactly what they're doing. They're selling it at face value, not at its actual value. They're just selling it at face value. And people are like willing to buy it, of course. And people are willing to sell it for the same, well, go figure. It's just the way it is because, you know, everybody, going to talk about a plane crash. It was a hijacking on, was it Ethiopian Airlines? Anyone remember this? The pilot comes on and he says that we don't carry enough fuel to get us anywhere because of the hijackings. So we don't have enough fuel to get us to your location. So at some point on the trip, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to shoot me because I'm not going to listen to you anymore because the plane will not make it to that destination. In fact, that's why they fly over land, is just in case they have to land somewhere. Well, he lands in the water. But before he lands, he tells the crew, he tells everybody on the plane, put your vests on, but wait till you're off the plane before you hit the button to inflate it. 80% of the people hit the button while the plane was in the air. They turned them on in the air before they even hit the water. He told them we're going to land in the water, but they all pushed their button. 80% of, can you imagine 80% of the passengers, because they all followed suit. They all followed suit. But they were told not to. Wait till you're out away from the plane before you inflate your vest. They didn't. They lost, 90% of the passengers because of it. And they never found the hijackers that held up the plane. But that's what people do. So 80% of them, and then the others trying to get them to come down so they could get them out the door. Well, guess what? It's a bad scenario. It's just bad, right? It's extremely bad because they're opening the doors trying to get out because air is very limited, right? You need to get out, get up to the surface as soon as possible. And then the shore is not too far away. It was like maybe 700 meters from the shore. So just wanted to share that with you because I know for a fact everybody does the exact same thing. Someone tells you to bail, you start to bail. Philippians 4:13, right? North Carolina. Hello, North Carolina. Philippians 4:13. Okay, so Robinhood only deals with two countries, UK and the US. So even in Canada, we can't buy SHIB through Robinhood, even though Robinhood is probably the best one to buy SHIB through because of it's cheap. Every time you buy, the fees are really, really cheap. It's, I think, 25 cents a transaction, which is awesome, right? 25 cents, come on. That's even cheaper than a majority of them. And that's the whole point of it. Even Ethereum can't even compete with that. Binance doesn't even look at it. And Crypto.com, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking they're competing with Robinhood. What can I recommend for everybody or companies to deal with where you can purchase SHIB? So we recommend, if you're in the States, Mark, and I know you're not, but if you're in the States, Robinhood, right? For us, it would be, and I can't really recommend it because I don't know too much about it. I'm in it myself. I use it for trading with taking money and transferring that money back and forth because I get a great deal where I pay the person sending me SHIB. We get zero fees on every transaction that gets sent to me. It cost me $5 to send it though. It cost me $5 to send it to each winner. And then the burn is $5 also to send it. That's Bitmart. Bybit is a really good one, but I'm not sure about the fees. CoinDesk, I'm not sure about the fees. What's the other one? Ooh, and BlackRock just bought CoinDesk. CoinDesk or Coin? Let's get into it. Give me 2 seconds. We'll tell you exactly which one. Coinbase. BlackRock just bought a massive chunk of Coinbase, only because Coinbase is a worldwide exchange. So they're in multiple countries all over. They're in the Philippines. They're in Japan. I don't think they're in Hong Kong, but they are in Taiwan. HTX, OKX, all OKX is Asia and parts of Europe. So they have a massive stake. Gate.io, KuCoin, the Kraken we can't buy in Canada. The one we recommend, and we don't recommend that you buy it or get into it because the fees are so high. They don't charge you a set fee, it's 2%. So 2% doesn't seem like much, but when you have 100 million SHIB, it turns into a lot of money if SHIB goes up a lot of money. You're losing a lot of money on the transaction. So keep that in mind. But they are the safest for Canada. Wealthsimple is the safest for Canada. The only thing about Wealthsimple is you buy it at market. You sell it at market. Now with SHIB, you don't have to worry about it because SHIB's transactions, if you looked at it, it's just phenomenal. When I looked at the transactions and we go to btcc.com, and you look at the transactions that are taking place. You can even go to Binance and check out the transactions. It is phenomenal how fast SHIB trades. And it doesn't trade like it goes up a millionth of a coin. A millionth of a coin. And there's like 30,000 people or 3,000 people trying to buy it at that price. Like what's for everybody? It's nuts. Like not even a second, and it's doing 10 transactions. Like not even a second, there's 10 transactions, 20 transactions. It's insane. So the amount of money that's being made is phenomenal, right? And if they were to burn a portion of that, imagine what would happen. All that volume, all that extra volume would start kicking in. Because everybody started, oh my God, we're going to miss out. We're going to miss out. We're going to miss out. Because what happens when people start to understand what that is, when they see a massive burn, that's how come, like when we see a million burn, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, even a billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, it doesn't make much difference to the overall prospectus. But when you burn 56 billion in 3 months, people notice and it starts to mentally set them on fire because all of a sudden now there's less supply. Oh, we're going to get these actual burns coming in and more people are going to catch on to it. And then we're going to get, no, the exchanges never did catch on to it. If they did, SHIB would never be where it's at. So you can thank them for not catching on to it because if they did, SHIB would never be here at this price, would never ever hit this price because all the exchanges would be fighting for dominance because they want to make all the money that they can get their hands on. So it become extremely rare that it would start a snowball effect and the domino effect on top of that, because now you have cryptocurrencies also doing the exact same thing, because everybody wants to make money. And the ones that get left behind is us, because we don't understand what's going on. By the time we figure it out, SHIB's already almost a cent. And then you're spending a lot of money to buy it, you know, $10,000, $20,000 to try and get in there, because you want to make, you know, 50x, 60x your money on your return. And now you're going to have to put out more money, and you're putting it on an exchange that you don't know much about. And then you're taking all that trust. And that's why we can't recommend certain exchanges to you, because we have no idea. The ones in Canada, you got to be careful with them, because some of them only work days, and they have times. So like, I think it's NADAC, and what's the other one? GOX. GOX is good because they give you money back like when you put money in. You put $100 in, they give you 2 or 3 trades, and they usually do the first 50 or 5 trades for cryptocurrency at no cost to you. So that's how they get you in. So they give you $50 worth of trades. Makes sense? So you get all those trades for free, 10 trades for free. Or what you can opt to is to go into the raffle and find out what coin, or not what coin, what company they're going to give you in lieu of. And some of them you could, you know, $100, $200 in some of them, right? Like Apple, you get like an Apple stock, one Netflix stock, that's $1,000. But the chances of getting it is like 1 in a, what is it, 7,000, 7,500. So very slim chance of getting it. And it's on a Rolodex with a digital asset that spins it. And that's what they give you, is the one share. And you could end it with 50 cents, right? 10 cents, right? You don't get 20 of them. You don't get 20 shots at it. You only get 1 shot at it. So, but that's how they get you in there. That's how they get you noticed. So North Carolina, are you in SHIB? You in SHIB? We'll get you added on as a standard moderator. Boom, baby. Yeah, so North Carolina, USA, today. Tomorrow's too late. Yeah, so SHIB should take off anytime. Realistically, it could take off anytime. It's so undervalued, it's not even funny. We talked about this before. The $749 billion that's been taken out of the marketplace has zero impact on the price. I'm not kidding. It has zero impact on the price. You name another currency that's reducing its circulating supply that will never replenish it. There isn't one. Okay, even what was it? WOTF, WIF, with hats. WIF, it's a WIF. They took out 1 trillion. They took 1 trillion of their coins out, but they have a CEO and a board of directors. They have wages that they have to pay. SHIB doesn't have wages to pay. They're 100% decentralized, completely decentralized. You can't get any more decentralized except for Bitcoin. And where's Bitcoin's price? 107,000 US dollars. And it's right next to SHIB, right? They're the only 2 cryptocurrencies in the entire world that have limited or reducing its circulating supply. SHIB is a different animal altogether, but what's SHIB at right now? Hold on to your party hats. We'll get you right in. So we're at 4 zeros. We're at 4 zeros. 1, 4, 5, 4, 5. That's right. 4 zeros. You have to go down 4 zeros. So for $14.67 buys you 1 million SHIB. Each ticket in US dollars for the raffle draw is 62 cents US. Reference, right? Because we only accept SHIB. That's 46,000 SHIB for that 46 for the 64 cents. 64 or 62. You're gonna beat me over the head with the 2 cent difference, right? It's on the website. It's all listed on here. Yeah, 62 cents. Not 64, 62. So 62 cents buys you one raffle ticket, but you can't send me fiat currency. Not allowed. As soon as you send me a fiat currency, can't accept it. Sorry. It's just the way it is. Have to take it in SHIB. Have to transfer from your wallet to our wallet. It's on the website. The QR code's on the website. Just copy the QR code. Send it. Tell us how much you want. Right now, it's a 2-step process. It's a little tricky. We want to get it down to 1-step process where you just click and go. And then it comes up and it gives you the autoresponder where you fill out the form. And then we send you the tickets. It's that simple, because once it goes through the account, we get an alert telling us that someone bought tickets. Then we send, then it automatically sends it to you through the autoresponder. And do we, somebody asked me if we wanted to do up a confirmation. I'm like, no, because you know who the confirmation is? The people who get the tickets. Because we have on our list, it tells us that they got the email. So we would assume that they got their tickets. Now, if they don't get their tickets, they're going to email me back or call me back, because they have the number. It's on the website. They're going to call me back and say, I didn't get my tickets. Can you please resend them? I'll be like, absolutely. We can absolutely do that for you. No question. Absolutely do that for you. And if we have too many complaints like that, we'd have to do absolutely a confirmation back to them, saying, did you receive your tickets? And please let us know if you have, because we can resend you the tickets, the same ticket numbers. That's it. And then when you win, of course, you want to come on the live channel to find out who's participating. And 80% of everything that 80% of all that we take in from the YouTube channel, Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, everything we take in from this event, all goes, 80% of it goes to who? The community. We give it back to the community. We only keep 20%. The whole idea is to get as many people into it and take part into coming onto the YouTube channel. And once they see that raffle continually growing and the reductions piling in every single day, they understand that, hey, wait a second, I might want to get into this because it's going to explode. And it literally will explode because of the amount of burns that we're going to be doing. And I expect them to build, not slow down, build faster and faster and faster and faster, because more people see that, hey, I want to take part in that. It's giving back to the community. So I win no matter what. I win. It's a win-win situation. I win if I win twice. If I don't win, I win. I win to see the amount that's being reduced in SHIB circulating supply. So everybody that's in SHIB wins. So it's like a no-brainer. I'm shocked it's taken this long to catch on to every single person on the planet. Personally, because I've been around since November of last year, talking about this very same thing. And I'm shocked there's no influencers doing the exact same thing. I'm literally blown away by how many influencers don't cover the value that's being added every single time we do a reduction in SHIB circulating supply. And when you see those reductions, nobody seems to be paying attention. Like, it's literally nobody paying attention to it. And that's huge, right? That's massive utility. Like, when you think about it, how many companies out there are giving money back to you? Like, when you do a share buyback, when you hear share buyback, that's an alert to you saying the company's now reinvesting in itself for your benefit, to make you even more money because it wants to promote itself. And the best way to do that is with share buybacks. Now, share buybacks have two different aspects that render it or help it. It tells investors, hey, you're in a great stock. We're not overly spending. We're taking the money and giving it back to the people who helped us get here by giving it back to the investor so that the value of our stocks goes up and the price jumps. But where's the value in share buybacks? Because they don't buy it at market. None of them buy it at market. They have a price target. And that price target is usually 30% less than where the price is. Does that make sense to everybody? You understand that concept? SHIB does not have that issue. SHIB's constantly reducing its circulating supply. So if it's constantly reducing its circulating supply, every single time it does a reduction, shouldn't the price go? Yeah, you would think, right? The price should escalate. But people don't pay attention. They're too busy hitting the life vest, making sure that they're not able to get out of the plane. They're not getting out. They're bailing. Everybody else is selling, so I got to sell. That's what they're doing, though. They're taking it at face value. Remember the quarter that's worth $250,000 and everybody else is selling it for 25 cents? But the person that's smart looks it up and says, oh, this coin's worth $250,000. There's a little thing on there that I caught with my eye, and I'll check it out. And they scan it, or they go down and get a book. They go through the library. They find out that coin's worth a lot of money. Do they tell everybody that they got the coin from? Hey, that coin was worth $250,000. Here's $10,000. Here's another $10,000 for you. You think that they're going to be happy with $10,000? Absolutely, right? No. They find out that coin was worth $250,000. Some of them are going to try and rob you. Some of them are going to go into a depression, a state of, oh my God, my family could have used that money. My sister could have used that money. My brothers could have used that money. I could have used that money. And that's the whole prospectus on everybody, the human nature aspect of it, right? So when you're selling something of value and somebody else sells it for a lot less, that's on them. Now, unfortunately, they're going to be able to see that happening in SHIB on a granular scale, because what's going to happen with SHIB is the exchanges are going to catch on to it. And once they catch on to it, it's not over, but you're just going to be buying it at a higher price, and at a lot higher price. Because what are they going to do with it? They're going to reduce it because they want the volume. They don't care about your money. It's all about what they're going to make on the deal. And they don't care if the price goes up or down. They don't care. As long as there's movement. Because as long as there's movement, I'm making money. So the more I reduce, the more volume there is. And the higher the price. Which means that the fees are also higher. So I want that to go higher. And then there's dominance, right? They want that dominance because they want to make the most of it. They don't want to be able to share it with 500 other exchanges and then 18,000 cryptocurrencies that are trying to do the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're starting to get the hint, right? The domino effect, the snowball effect starts to get momentum. If McDonald's isn't making money, oh, wait a second, we buy SHIB, and then every single transaction, and they don't have to say anything to the SHIB community. They just got to make an announcement saying we found a currency that we're able to reduce the circulating supply and give us even more value for our investors. Boom. Every single one of them is going to be looking for a currency that does this, because every single company wants to take part in it all over the world. I don't have to do anything. Not a thing, and I'm going to make how much money? I'm potentially going to make billions per year just doing this one thing? Sign me up. They all do the same thing. Sign me up. I want in. Every single organization, big organizations like McDonald's, like Wendy's, like Starbucks, like The Gap, like Nordstrom, like the jewelry stores, right? The massive chains of jewelry stores. Who else is there? We got Burger King. We got Wendy's. We got Harvey's. The list goes on, right? A&W, KFC, Mary Brown's chicken. But not just them. We're talking Apple. We're talking Amazon. We're talking Alibaba. We're talking everybody in China, all the Chinese that have not caught on to it yet. Every single one of them are going to do the exact same thing. BYD, Ford, GM, all the big organizations that want to make massive amounts of money. Every single one of them are going to start piling in because of all the money they're missing out on. And no one wants to get. No one wants. That's why I don't understand how come this is taking so long for everybody to understand and catch on to it, because everybody makes money in it. No one gets left out. That's what the amazing part about SHIB is, that I thought for sure that people would just start piling into it, knowing that, hey, I got something that's reducing its circulating supply, I got something that's going to gain in value, and I got something that I'm going to make money at. No matter what happens, no matter what, I'm going to make money. Unless national banks take over. Because once they take over, they put the fear of God in you, telling you that you're doing something illegal, even though you're not, trying to get all your SHIB from you, just like they did with Bitcoin, right? They try and do that. They try and set that fear in you to give you up all your SHIB. And then the ones that are scared and don't understand the rules of conduct in each of the countries, because what do they say? It's got no governance. It's got no what? SHIB is what? This is why we can host the SHIB 50/50 raffle in the first place. SHIB has got no legal tender anywhere throughout the world. It's not considered a legal tender, which means if it's not considered a legal tender, it means that it's off limits, because it's like an imaginary friend or an imaginary currency. It doesn't hold any value. In fact, when you invest it in SHIB or invest it in any cryptocurrency, even Bitcoin, they look at it as a loss until you do what? Cash it out. Put it back in fiat currency. Then they want the taxes on it. It's sick, but it's true. That's exactly what they want. So when we want SHIB to go to 408888 or 308888, the reason why we want SHIB there is because it should be there now, or close to it, proximity-wise. It should be there already. 749 billion SHIB removed. SHIB didn't move at all. But we reduced 56 billion and SHIB jumps up 7x. And transaction-wise, I want you to think about this very carefully, because it'll give you some idea of just how powerful SHIB is. $6 to $7 billion in transactions per day for 43 days. Can you imagine the exchanges that made money on that? And there's only a handful of them. Now there's more. And more and more and more. They're starting to realize it, people. They're starting to get the hint. And this is why it's so important for everybody to tell everybody about it. Because you want everybody to win. You don't want to get anyone left out, especially when it's only $14, $15 to buy 1 million SHIB. And we don't recommend anybody spending any more than that. Why? Because you don't know. We don't know. We don't know how long it's going to be. It could be next week. It could be tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, everybody's pissed off. Because they'd be like, well, why didn't someone tell me that? They don't know. They honestly have no idea. But we are so undervalued that people don't look at the value. They're more interested in looking at the price. And it's fluctuating. And I'm scared. I'm not scared. All you have to do is look at two things, right? The reduction and how many wall holders there are. And if you want to get smart with it, but you can't now, because what I've done is, I don't know who did it, but they've taken out the Ethereum. Where is it? The top 100 wall holders. They've turned it into a farce. They used to have it where you could find out how many exchanges are holding on SHIB. The top 100 coins, and it was under CoinCarp. So you could go to CoinCarp and look it up. Now CoinCarp is disastrous. You can't see anything. And it's doing that on purpose. Because if a bidding war starts, and remember that CoinCarp is run by Ethereum. And Ethereum has no market share anymore of SHIB. They've lost their market share, their competitiveness on SHIB, which was the founder introduced it. But again, They made a mistake. They didn't burn any SHIB with it. They didn't learn a thing. All it would have done is do this. If you reduce SHIB circulating supply with a percentage of it, 40 billion you made, okay, if you took in 10% of that, that's $4 billion worth of SHIB. Reduce the circulating supply. That's another 40% of the currents, right? That's another 40%, and you spent $4 billion, and you're going to make another $80 billion on top of that. 20 times your money. 20 times. And then next time it happens, you're in the trillions, because it's going to escalate. The SHIB supply dwindles that much. Everybody's going to pile in another 3-4 months of solid gains, but it'll take 4 months for them to catch on that this money is gone. Like the amount of circulating supply is diminished, is no longer coming back. For some reason, people take a long time to figure out that something's worth more money for some reason, but it's true. I mean, Vladimir Putin burned 410 trillion. 4 months later, the SHIB starts to rise. Now, they could say that it was going up with the market. Actually, SHIB took off before the markets took off. Before the markets took off and made that 72,000. It broke world records. And when it shuts down exchanges, it's because of the sheer volume that SHIB is doing. And that's the truth of it. Robinhood, when they took forever to accept SHIB on their exchange. And then when they did, 3 days they were shut down after being on the market for 10 hours. No, 4 hours. They were on for 4 hours. They were shut down. They had to go get new servers. They couldn't keep up with the demand. Seriously, that's how fast SHIB is. When you look at it, you just go, it's just phenomenal how fast it's moving. On nothing. Like literally, how many people have that amount of SHIB that they don't mind transferring within a millionth of a cent, or close to 100 millionth of a cent? It's like, wow, that's just phenomenal. How many people are making money at that? And then when it's going up and down like that, you'd have a heart attack, wouldn't you? In no time, your high blood pressure would be going through the roof because of the amount of transactions, and it's like pointless. It's like absolutely useless, the amount of transactions that are happening at that small level. And then, oh, is it going up or down? It's like, are you kidding me? It's constantly adding value, but the thing is they never took advantage of it. They had the golden eggs, and then they gave it away. They literally gave them away. And then Robinhood came into the picture. Coinbase came into the picture. BitBuy came into the picture. OKX came into the picture. Gate.io came into the picture. They each steal market share away from Ethereum. And Ethereum had not fought back to gain back that market dominance that they used to have over SHIB. So they lose out too. So now I'm expecting a massive, massive rally for every exchange to try and take a piece of the pie, because every single one of them want to make money. And if they're making money, that means that they are guaranteed a spot. And they don't need to burn their money that they take in. What they're doing is every transaction that's coming, they reuse that transaction cost, a percentage of it, to reduce SHIB circulating supply. Because they don't want to burn any of their supply. They want to burn your supply. That's the whole point of it. So you think about that. The people who are trading it right now lose the most. That's the truth of it. They're the ones losing. They're going to lose the most. Because SHIB is going to explode, and when it does, it's going to take their money away from them. And they're going to continue to burn it. So the people who are like, oh, I need the money, I need to get it out, okay, you understand that the exchanges are the ones buying it from you and then reducing a small percentage of that, but they're keeping it and then selling it to the next person on the same exchange. And then what they're doing is they're going to say, hey, listen, we're burning SHIB on a constant basis so that the volume stays in their hands. So they want that dominance. Everybody wants that dominance because of that. And there's 500 exchanges. You do the math on it. If each of them try to buy a trillion, not a trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion, because you need to have about 10 trillion, because you got to be able to keep a portion of it for yourself and then be able to trade the other portions, because you want that portion to what? Start reducing the SHIB circulating. You got it. Start reducing the SHIB circulating supply. Always constantly giving you value and giving you money based on the volume and creativity that you've imposed, and you didn't have to do anything at all. And you get a kickback from the government because you're reducing the fiat currency at the same time. So each country is happy to have you reduce the circulating supply of their fiat currency, increasing the value of their fiat currency. But you're not doing it on a grand scale like you are with SHIB. SHIB is gaining in absolute dominance when it comes to market creativity, right? Because the amount of burns that are going to light the way for every single person on the planet to understand what that means. Once the organizations catch on to it, it's going to erupt. We are going to end up with less than 100 billion SHIB in circulating supply. You can just imagine what the price is going to be at that point. And that's what's going to happen as we get closer to 75 to a billion, 100 billion transactions every single day. Every single day, 100 billion. Can you imagine 100 billion in transactions? And then it's going to go to 120 billion transactions every single day. And who doesn't want to take a piece of that pie, right? All the exchanges love it. And they do care about the price, because the price gives them what? More power. Because they're holding so much SHIB. But even them have got price, because they're going to keep a portion of it, they're going to keep majority of it, but they still want to trade it off. They're still going to want to trade it off. And eventually they're going to become banks. They're going to own everything. Because the whole idea is to gain worldwide debt so that they can now leverage what SHIB's offering them. Now they can start looking at corporate lending practices. And they don't want to lend SHIB out. What they're doing is holding SHIB on the currency that they want, and then using the fiat currency. And this is where the national bank's going to have a real problem with it, because they can lend out a fraction of what the national banks are offering. Right? I need a mortgage. Oh, I can get you a mortgage. It's going to be 1.99%. Well, the banks can't compete with that. You see where there's going to be a problem? That's exactly it. And then they take the 99% of it goes towards, the 1% goes towards the reduction of SHIB circulating supply. You see how that would work? So I'm not taking, mine is core value. And now I'm adding to that core value, because I'm using your money that you use to lend, and I'm taking it and reducing SHIB circulating supply with it. So I'm making even more money. So the amount of interest that I'm gaining on there is 3 to 4x per year. Per year, not like 3 times your money every year. Like you get me? You understand where that's coming from? So that's the power of SHIB. It'd be able to transform your lives into banks. And you'll be able to leverage it just like a bank does with gold, right? But gold is between every single exchange that's out there. And in each of the exchanges are having a hard time with liquidity, because majority of them are underwater. So even if they're holding gold, they've leveraged the gold, so the gold's got no value, because it's all based on debt that's owned by each of these countries. That's what the U.S. has done. That's why gold didn't go through the roof. Just found that out just a month ago. That, yeah, the U.S. has been using their bonds to buy gold with it. And the bonds are based on the amount of money that the U.S. has borrowed. And of course, there are $36 trillion in debt. So China can do whatever they like, buy all the gold they want. But the problem is that the U.S. owns a whole bunch of it on these bonds that are worthless. So, yeah, you can pump up gold all you want, but that means that the U.S. government is making money too at the same time. So you're not hurting their dollar. In fact, you're making it grow bigger. But they don't understand that concept, right? They're like, oh, it's a leverage against the U.S. dollar. Be very careful with that one. Very careful, because what they've done is they've put the bonds towards the gold. That's why the gold prices haven't exploded. And that's a true story, by the way. So thank you so much for everybody for coming in. I hope you learned something tonight. If you haven't already, go on to SHIB Worldwide 50/50 Raffle. I'm listed everywhere. If you want the website, it's SHIB5050raffle.com. The new website, I'm hoping to get it running this weekend coming up. I'm hoping to get it running. And then you guys let me know how it is. The old website is kind of, I talked to a couple people today. They said it's confusing. And I'm like, how can it be confusing? But from my point of view, I got a little bit of education in there. And I guess it could be kind of confusing for people who don't know what that means. About the value being added every single day. About what you're missing out on. But please take it like a grain of salt. Only buy in with a lottery ticket. That's because we're not financial advisors, and SHIB is so low, and no one can offer you financial advice. It's like a pink sheet. If you want to make money at it, you're going to make an insane amount of money at it, but we don't know when that's going to happen. It could happen any day. That's true. It could happen any second of any day. There could be a massive burn, change everything. We could have massive exchanges. All of a sudden, start a bidding war over SHIB. Again, that can happen any second of any day. The cryptocurrencies could take this, but you understand what I'm trying to get at? It's going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen. And everybody wants it to happen tomorrow or tonight or in the next 2 hours. We want to see SHIB fly. The thing is that you have to understand that when you have buyers, you also have sellers. So, and because SHIB has such a huge following, people are willing to trade it for a millionth of a cent, 100th millionth of a cent, like 10 trades every second, every half a second. There's 10, 15, 20 trades. Are you kidding me? What has changed in a second? Nothing. Yeah, big shout out to Anthony, Mark. Big shout out to every single person. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to do shout outs to Anthony. Massive shout out to Shane, who's only sportsman. Massive love shout out to you. Massive love shout out to Rowena. Massive love shout out to Jason Cox. Massive love shout out to every single person that comes in. Big shout out. Make sure you comment, like, and share. The polls show 80 to 20. So some people don't want it to go 4 zeros, 888, and we have 20%, and we've only had 5 votes. So realistically, it's a toss-up. 5 votes is not enough. We need like a 300 to 400 votes or 1,000 votes. 10,000 would be better. 100,000 would be even better. Yeah. Good night to everybody. Have a great and wonderful night. Talk to you later. We're going to end the poll. We'll do another one tomorrow. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Poll for 5 votes. 5 votes is not enough for an influential correspondence. You need thousands, right? 10,000 would be better. 20,000 would be even better. 100,000. Now we're talking 200,000, 300,000 votes. Now we're talking, okay? So whatever those would say, and then why and why not, right? We could do another poll after that, but we didn't. Thank you so much. I'm Will, your host. Don't forget to check out the website. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Have a great and wonderful evening, everyone. And from me to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night from wherever you are in the world. God bless each and every one of you. Always have fun in this channel. We always want to have fun. Why? It's a raffle. It's excitement. It's enthusiasm. It's lucrative for every single person on the planet. That's what we're trying to install in everybody. Thank you, and have a great, wonderful evening. Have yourself a fantastic day. God bless each and every one of you. Peace out. Jesus loves everybody. That's why we share this with everybody. Thank you so much. Peace.